Good evening, Ambassador Ingrid Amer.
Good evening.
Welcome to Rwanda. Your first time in Rwanda?
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
Okay. So let's get down to the crux of the matter. So what is Estonia's foreign policy about? What are its objectives? And what is Estonia's foreign policy towards the African continent?
Well, to put it briefly, for Estonia, the most important task is to keep Estonia secure and wealthy, and that our neighborhood would be also secure and wealthy. So we are working to keep Estonia safe and secure. It means we work for that ourselves, and we belong to organizations like EU and NATO. And this gives us guarantees, and we are working also for we are working also. Our priorities are to keep our neighborhood. So our direct neighborhood, it's Eastern Europe, so Eastern Partnership. We work very closely with them. But to go further, we come to Europe's southern neighborhood, and this means Africa. This means the Eastern and Southern Mediterranean, but also Sub-Saharan Africa. So our interest is that our neighborhood is safe and secure, and we work there. One thing to keep this neighborhood safe is and secure and wealthy is to have very good economic relations, right? Because and the other aspect in which we work also for Africa, it's missions, military missions. Right. Because there are countries still, there are ongoing military conflicts on the African continent. Sadly, African continent has the most of the military conflicts that are ongoing nowadays, and Estonia gives its share. So our biggest military mission is in Mali, actually, where we participate in the UN mission, MINUSMA. We participate in the EU training mission, EUTM, and we also participate in the French-led counter-terrorism operation Barkhane and its task force Takuba. So we give our share to Africa's security. But apart from that, we also participate in the EU mission to Libya, Irene. So okay. and some missions in the Middle East.
Interesting. On Estonia's foreign policy strategy 2030,
yes.
Do shed some light on this policy.
Sorry?
The Estonia's foreign policy strategy 2030.
Okay. Yeah, well, as I said, we have those timeless, let's say, timeless goals for us, timeless things. It's security of Estonia, right? As I said, our well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Then it means that economic diplomacy. Mm-hmm. Then consular. It's Estonians abroad. And so basically we are working on those spheres. So to make Estonia more known,
mm-hmm.
and actually, yes, to.
Estonia is fully digital.
Yes.
Estonia is a fully digital and is known as a startup nation.
Mm-hmm.
And the country is known for e-governance stance and
mm-hmm.
drive and approach. Why did Estonia decide to go fully digital way before it was even fashionable? And why this futuristic approach to digital technology?
Actually, there is an explanation, because Estonia regained its independence in 1991 after 50 years of Soviet occupation, And at that concrete moment in 1991, our economy was in very bad shape. We had to do reforms. We had to do reforms that were quite painful for the people. We had no money. But we had ambitions. We had a goal. We had a government who was young and had really a vision of Estonia as a part of the Western world, and we needed to regain our place there. We had educated people, and actually we had also this tradition of good IT education in Estonia. So, and we had to be creative. So we had to run very fast to really achieve our goals. And in 1991, it was exactly the time when world started, to go in this direction.
Technological.
Yes. So and we had, as I said, we had educated people, we had ambitions, and this for us was also necessity, because we saw that actually via going digital, via going doing those reforms, we could also save money, because we did not have a lot then.
Interesting.
And we did it step by step. So there was, yes, this political vision, and there was consensus in the society that we needed to do it. So we started to build our e-government actually from the mid-90s, and we started to do it in a very comprehensive way, meaning that it also had to start, start with educating kids. So we had a program called Tiger Leap, computers practically to every school, internet everywhere. We taught school children, so a whole generation grew up with knowledge in IT, in computers, but we also did not leave our older generation away from this. So we had also courses for retired people.
Interesting. And this has paid off, right?
Yes. So actually, and this kind of helped, because we did not do everything at once. We did it step by step. So because building e-government, it's also it demands legislative changes. So we had to do everything. So first it had to be a vision, political will. It had to be a priority. So educating people. And then of course, as we were doing all those changes, Estonia, we had to also create our new banking system. And actually via those banks, e-banking systems, we started to develop also those e-services. First e-services came like this.
Interesting. As the Director of Middle East, Africa and Latin America at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Estonia, and also the non-resident ambassador to Mali, how would you describe the relations between the Baltic state of Estonia and the African continent in general?
Well, I can't tell you about all Baltic countries. I'd rather concentrate on Estonia, but probably if you would look into history, then I would say that historically our relations with African countries haven't been very deep. Actually, they started around the end of 19th century with our missionaries, because we had missionaries, Christian missionaries in southern Africa, Eastern Africa, and also Northern Africa. And with those missionaries, we gained knowledge and interest, and first works and written articles we got, so this was the kind of the start of Estonian Africanistics and interest towards Africa. When Estonia became independent in 1918, then of course our first worries were mostly concentrated on us and also on our concrete neighborhood, but actually also in those 20s and 30s when Estonia was independent, then we managed even also then look towards Africa, and then the interest was mostly because Estonia is a maritime country and we had seamen, so we had those who went to Africa, and at some time our biggest diaspora in Africa was in Belgian Congo, for example, and our government was discussing even establishing a consulate there, but we did not. Yes, it did not materialize, and we lost our independence. In Soviet times, I would say yes, it was mostly contact between seamen, and in 90s. When we re-established our independence, then it started step by step.
So then
it started step by step, and in a very logical way, because firstly, we had to manage ourselves, we had to do our reforms. Our goal was to become member of the EU and NATO, and so with this EU accession process, we also started looking towards Africa, because a lot of work in EU's neighborhood goes also to this African direction, and we opened our embassies, not in Africa then, but for example, we nominated our first non-resident ambassador to the African continent. It was to Morocco. We started from there, from Northern Africa.
Okay.
And after that to Egypt, and then we opened our first embassy, and still our only embassy on the African continent. It was in Egypt, 2010.
Okay.
And from Egypt we cover African Union and also Ethiopia. But last year, we became members of the UN Security Council, and then we decided also to open an office in Addis Ababa. It's still as an office of our embassy in Cairo, but we have chargé d'affaires working in Addis Ababa.
Okay, so it has been.
The
growth has been organic.
Yes, so the growth has been very organic, and also you asked questions about our digital transformation, and actually I would say that what really brought us closer to African countries was what happened in the beginning of 90s. Why? Because all those reforms we did, the way we went digital, step by step, from the scratch, doing everything in an organic way, actually brought us closer to Africans, because at some moment we understood there is a huge interest of many African countries towards what we did, because our transition experience has proven to be very successful, and also in I would say around 10-15 years ago, also our companies, mostly IT companies, started looking towards Africa, and our first projects on the continent were made. So it has been a step-by-step process, and it has been very, in a way, very logical.
Interesting, detailed. To the next question, what are the strategic and beneficial plans in the pipeline between Estonia and the African countries where Estonia has a presence or sort of a presence?
We have, how to say, as I said, diplomatic presence we have still only in Cairo.
Okay,
and
yes.
yes, we have a diplomat in Addis Abeba. We have honorary consuls in several African countries, but we want to expand the network of honorary consuls, because honorary consuls also represent kind of Estonia. They help us. We wish to go forward in the spheres that where we are strong and where there is an African interest. So it's mostly digital transformation, green transformation, cooperation in education. We are a very small country, 1.3 million, and we are talking about relations with a huge continent of 1.3 billion, right? So it means that whatever we do, we have to be more creative.
Strategic.
So yes, strategic and more creative. So you mentioned there is this concrete interest towards digital transformation, and we plan to do it as long as there is interest of Africans. But now I would say that there is a lot also that we can learn from Africans, because in the 90s we leapfrogged, but now you are doing this. We have, for example, in Rwanda or Kenya, there are so many interesting mobile solutions you are using. We could learn from you, because I think any cooperation is the best when it goes two ways. And yes, there is interest to work with Africans in the field of education. Estonia is pretty strong in education. We are, if you know about PISA tests of OECD, yes, we are one of the top countries in the world in that. And this has, yes, attracted attention. But as we are also strong in e-things and e-learning, and COVID has, brought this up as a necessity. So we have good solutions for that also. So there is, we can cooperate there also. So mostly digital green transition, education.
Interesting. So next question, the Africa-EU partnership is cemented through various programs, yes, and facilities and funds such as the Pan-African Program, the African Peace Facility, the EU Emergency Trust Fund, the African Investment Platform, and the EU Africa Infrastructure Trust Fund. What are the current updates with these programs?
Well, actually, as I said, Estonia is a small country, and we are concentrating on what we are strong. And actually, I mentioned those priorities that are bilaterally important for us, like digital and green transformation, education, but also security. Those are priorities for us also in the EU-Africa cooperation. So we are working for that also in EU. For example, we are active in digital for D4D hub, so digital for development. Yes, sorry. But as I mentioned, security, our military missions, but also you are in Africa, quite a number. So we are active there. But yes, so
why active in Estonia is active in Mali, right?
Yes.
Why Mali?
Why not? Because actually, military. There is a logic there also. We have had very good bilateral military cooperation with France, It started in 2010 when I first worked with French, and it was in Somalia, Atalanta. Then in 2013 we went to Mali, and we were again with French. Then we went to, for one short rotation, 4 months, we were in Central African Republic, also with the French. It kind of developed. And we are in Mali also with France. So mostly, we are participating in all missions, all military missions there. But the biggest number of our military is bilaterally in the French counterterrorism operation Barkhane and its task force Takuba. So we are there in Mali because we have had a very good tradition of military cooperation with France. But it's not only France, it's Europe's security.
Interesting. To the next question, still on the Africa EU alliance and all.
Yes.
Do you have any take, or do you, in 2018, a new Africa EU alliance for sustainable investment and jobs was announced? What's the current state of this EU cooperation?
Actually, I can't write.
Okay.
No.
Interesting. So the EU to the present day, to the present day where we are now, the European Union ministerial meeting taking place in Rwanda is focusing on several themes. From your own perspective, how can these points, these themes, how can they be achieved?
I don't know if I got your question right, but EU, Europe and Africa, we say we are sister continents. We are connected to each other. It's only the Mediterranean that is a divider. So our well-being and security is connected, right? So it's in Europe's interest and it's in African interest, our partnership. And last year, was it last year? Yes, EU also came out with this communication towards the strategic partnership with Africa. It was kind of our input to EU-Africa strategy, and we would like to have a dialogue with African countries, to have your input. So we need to have those. We need to have this discussion on strategic priorities. That the work we have to do together. So there are many different fields. We need to work together for our better economic relations. Yes. We need to work more together for political aims. Yes, we need to work together for security, because this is important too. So and we have under every big goal we have those smaller, sub goals or spheres where we are working. For example, as I said, I'm still coming back to what is important for Estonia. For example, digital and green transformation. We need to do those jobs. This is the future. We have to, and we have to work together for that. And there is plenty of possibilities. So,
two more questions.
Yes.
2 more questions. As director of Middle East, Latin America, and Africa, quite a handful of portfolio. When should we on the continent have the next Estonian embassy?
Well, it's in the hands of our government to decide that, so I can't really elaborate on that.
Yes,
we have thoughts. But yes, right now we have COVID and.
Is any possibilities of any pointers to the countries that might get in next, or no, that is still under wraps?
We have closer cooperation with East Africa.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that basically points to something.
Yes.
Okay. To the final question, what's the title of the book you are currently reading?
Good Man in Africa.
By who wrote it?
It's a British author.
Oh,
Just
okay.
help me.
Okay. So this will tell me.